Welcome to LC Insider, your weekly insight into the world of printed electronics, flexible interfaces, and smart design, powered by LC Electronic, the world of printed electronics in one place. Imagine you're in the middle of a sprint. The team is closing the design of a new user interface for a medical device. The client wants it light and modern, with touch and lighting in one panel. During the daily, someone asks, "Can we use printed electronics for this?" And suddenly the room goes quiet. One person says, "We don't have time." Another adds, "We don't know how to test it." And you, as the project manager, feel that familiar pressure. You need to decide, and whatever you decide will affect the timeline, the risk, and the budget. That's exactly why this implementation checklist exists. Not to push one technology, but to help you qualify the decision the same way you qualify requirements, with facts, not guesses. Start where every good project starts, with the product and the user. Ask yourself whether the product needs to be small, flexible, or able to combine multiple functions into one layer. Think about where and how it will be used. Will it be worn on the body or used close to the body, like in wearables, medtech, or mobility? Do you want to reduce the number of components, the weight, or the thickness of the device? Are you planning to integrate backlighting, sensors, or a touch interface into one solution, rather than splitting it into separate modules? And will the product need to survive difficult conditions like moisture, UV exposure, repeated bending, or abrasion? If you're answering yes more than once, printed electronics isn't a random idea anymore. It becomes a serious direction worth evaluating. Then shift from product needs to team readiness, because even the best concept fails if your team can't execute it. Does your team have experience with substrates like PET or TPU and with conductive inks? If not, that's not a disaster, unless you pretend it doesn't matter. Do you have access to an application engineer or a technology partner who can guide you early? Does your R&D team understand the key differences between classic PCB thinking and printed electronics thinking, especially tolerances and fatigue behavior? Have you planned time in the backlog for prototyping and testing, not as an afterthought, but as a real deliverable? And do you use tools that can support printed layers in the workflow? Missing skills are not the real problem. The real problem is missing the plan for how you will fill those gaps. Now move to testing and validation, the part that PMs often fear, because it can look like an open-ended risk. The trick is to make it structured. Are environmental tests planned, like moisture, UV, or temperature exposure? Have you planned fatigue tests, such as bending, abrasion, and use cycles? Will the product need to meet standards or compliance requirements like RoHS, ISO, or IPC-related expectations? Do you have a clear plan to test an MVP before moving to production, so your sprint review is based on real performance and not only on "it looks good"? And do you have access to a test lab or a partner who can provide one? Testing isn't just a cost. In project terms, it's protection. Protection against late-stage regressions, bugs, redesigns, and stakeholder panic. After that, look at cost and timeline the way a PM should, end to end, not just unit price. Have you done a real total cost of ownership analysis, not only a comparison of material prices? Did you include potential savings from fewer parts and less assembly work? Is the project a short series, prototypes, or personalized units, where avoiding molds and heavy tooling is a major advantage? Is your schedule truly iterative, for example in 2 or 3 week sprints, so you can learn early and correct quickly? And is there real time allocated for MVP testing and improvements, rather than hoping everything will be perfect the first time? Printed electronics can sometimes cost more at the start, but less across the full product life, especially when you count complexity, assembly, and change costs as real money. Finally, zoom out to partnership and risk, because this is where projects either become predictable or become stressful. Do you have a trusted technology partner who understands your industry and your environment, not just the printing process? Does that partner offer more than production, like consulting, testing, documentation, and honest feedback when something doesn't make sense? Are you planning regular sprint reviews with the supplier, for example every 2 weeks, so problems are discovered early instead of late? Have you listed your key risks, materials, availability, compliance, and do you have a backup plan in case of delays or issues? Working with a real partner isn't an extra cost. It's often the fastest way to reduce risk and speed up delivery because it gives you competence, structure, and fast feedback loops. So here's the conclusion. A decision is not pressure, it's qualification. In the spirit of a Sandler-style approach, the goal is not to convince anyone. The goal is to help you make an informed choice. If, after walking through these questions, you see that printed electronics solves real problems in your project, then it's worth a conversation. And if you see that it doesn't fit your requirements, timeline, or team readiness, that's also a good outcome because you avoided a wrong path early. If you want a practical next step, you can turn this into an internal checklist your team can use, import it into your project workspace, and align stakeholders around a shared view of readiness. And if you want a no-pressure technical conversation, you can book a short call with an LC electronic engineer. Not a sales pitch, just a structured review of what your project needs and what printed electronics can realistically deliver. Welcome to LC Insider, your weekly insight into the world of printed electronics, flexible interfaces, and smart design, powered by LC Electronic, the world of printed electronics in one place. Thanks for listening. If you'd like to see how flexible electronics can transform your product, reach out at lcelectronic.com.